Safeguarding in your organisation can be like, well, marking your own homework. You've got a safeguarding policy, you've got somebody allocated or responsible for safeguard it, and then you think that's it. But that couldn't be further from the truth. By the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly what safeguarding is and how to set this up properly in your organisation so that you can create a real safeguarding culture rather than just box ticking. Safeguarding means protecting people, especially children, young adults, and vulnerable adults from harm, abuse, neglect, and exploitation, ensuring their health, well-being, and human rights are upheld so that they can live safely and develop well. What I outlined just there is really to reinforce the idea that safeguarding is so much more than just a policy and a single point of contact. For that statement to be true, and for us to really embed an organisation in which safeguarding becomes a culture, we have to rewrite the rule book and the understanding of what we believe safeguarding good practice to be. Before we start getting into how to make that change, or even looking at policies and procedures, we must understand the needs, rights, and unique challenges that come with employing apprentices. It's vital to understand that the apprentice is an employee, but they're also a learner, and this is crucial in understanding and assessing how you view risk. Firstly, you've had the apprentice's needs. So they need tasks, structure, and support, but they also really need a named contact or contacts that they can openly talk to when things just feel off. They also need, and something that's quite easy to fall by the wayside when things are busy, but is consistent and deliberate supervision, and not just a we'll see who's available. On top of this, there's a need for protected time when it comes to training and regular check-ins, so that they can speak about small issues before they become big issues that lead to the failure of their apprenticeship or even them leaving employment completely. Secondly, we have their rights, and with this, an apprentice has the exact same rights as any other employee within your business. They do, however, also have the right to learn and the right to training. So this means showing up with mentorship, showing up with time allocations, but also making sure that they're given real tasks in order to progress and not just left making tea or sweeping the floor. Most importantly, they also have the right to raise a concern without fear of judgment, and it has to be dealt with correctly and fairly, as you would with any other employee. Thirdly, they have their unique challenges. So we have to remember that often apprentices, this is their first exposure to the real world of work. They've come from a school environment in which everything's timetabled. They're told where to be, where to sit, what to eat, what to learn. This is a completely different world for them. So their exposure to risk, to observations, to mixing with people within a work environment, it's all completely new, different, and potentially quite scary. On top of navigating this new world, we're also seeing that young people today are bringing more challenges to the workplace than ever before. We're living in different socioeconomic times. There's pressures that they're likely facing from peers, from support networks, but also from social media. They're trying to navigate what it means to be independent, what it means to be employed, but also what it means to balance that with being an apprentice. All of this contributes to the considerations that we have to make when we're creating and reviewing our safeguarding policies. Feedback we get from employers around their own safeguarding policies are mainly that they're too complex. Nobody understands them, or nobody knows where to find them. They might have been written by a consultancy in years gone by, but they aren't actually relevant for the business or the world that we're operating in today. I think a prime example of this is the use of social media, especially with young adults and the younger generation entering our workforce. This leaves businesses open to risk, and it's a challenge that we're constantly talking about. So has your safeguarding policy even got a mention to social media use? To combat these weaknesses, firstly look at the unique needs, challenges, and rights that we've just mentioned. Write the policies in clear, easy to use language. Ensure it's clear on how to record and report an incident. And finally, and most importantly, ensure that this goes beyond just the HR or safeguarding lead, and that this becomes an embedded culture within your business. Ensuring your safeguarding policies and procedures are intact can be difficult. We think we have everything covered as we've written new policies, we've made sure they're clear, and we have reporting procedures. However, when a real incident occurs, it exposes the gaps and the cracks within our safeguarding practices that we didn't see coming. And this has a long-term impact on your apprentices and your wider team. Instead of exposing yourself to the risks of an incomplete or inefficient safeguarding policy and procedure during a genuine incident, it's better to stress test this using the Apprenticeship Central Safeguarding Audit. We review your full safeguarding approach, but more importantly, help you identify where the risks sit, manage those, and then implement actionable steps to protect you and move you forward on your journey. This ensures that when a genuine incident does occur, it's not a test run. You can feel fully confident in your setup, but also, and probably most importantly, your apprentices feel seen and cared for. Once we're happy that our documentation is compliant and effective, we then need to look at the people within our organisation. Many employers solely rely on the apprenticeship training partner to cover safeguarding off, but this leaves them exposed and at risk. Within every training provider, there is a designated safeguarding lead, but this is often one individual that's responsible for the overall safeguarding of every single student within that training provider. Imagine you were an apprentice and you had a problem that you wanted to talk to someone about. Would you feel comfortable reaching out to a person that you've never met, potentially over an email that's faceless? Or would you feel more comfortable raising this to someone that you've got a trusted and respected relationship with? This is why we cannot rely on just the safeguarding lead within the training provider alone. And it's vital that we offer a proper safeguarding support to the apprentices within our businesses. Your safeguarding lead needs to be someone who is qualified or willing to be qualified, someone who's close to the action, someone who demonstrates the skills of building relationships, of empathy, of trust, of confidentiality, and someone that everyone within your organisation would feel comfortable opening up to. Key members of the team should also be informed and really see safeguarding as their responsibility too, to ensure that it is organisation-wide, it becomes embedded, and it's not just seen as a tick box. It also means there's more points of support and everyone within the business understands how to raise concerns or escalate issues that may arise. So now we've updated our policies. We've found the brilliant people to really champion safeguarding within your organisation. It's now crucial to make sure that safeguarding is more than just a set of confusing documents that protect only the business. Instead, a good process is simple. If it's overly complicated, it doesn't get used. And actually, this exposes you to greater risks than not having anything at all. It's also small, so you don't need to have too many people involved, but you need to find the right people and you need to ensure that they've got clear responsibilities so that ownership and accountability is absolutely there. And lastly, it's really easy to escalate. Safeguarding is often about escalation, not investigation. So it's vital that people understand communication channels and escalation processes. Employers have a duty of care, especially if you're employing anyone under the age of 18. So you can't rely on off-the-shelf policies. You need to think about what's relevant to them and have something in place that can be measured, monitored, and tailored to their needs. Once you have that, you can consistently review and improve. There's so much more to apprenticeships than what first meets the eye. And luckily, we've created the ultimate guide to apprenticeships, which covers everything from hiring to funding, supporting mentors, and setting apprentices up for success. If you're ready to drive more talent through apprenticeships, then click the video here.